Hi guys, welcome back to the barn. Hope you're all well. So it's slightly too early in the morning to start the router. Someone is still in bed, but I thought I'd take the opportunity whilst I was out and about just to set this up. So I've got 3 T-tracks to router into this top, 2 to take the router fence and the other one to take accessories such as featherboards or the router sled. This T-track has been very kindly donated by Banggood, so thank you guys for this. This has got little increments on the front which may come in handy for setting up stops and stop rebates and things like that. It's quite an hefty piece of extrusion. It's 45mm wide and it's 12mm deep, so it's going to be quite a router. Bearing in mind I'm putting it onto an 18mm top, which is why when I set out the other 2 T-tracks, I've made sure that they're sat directly onto the struts in the sub base. So when I actually screw this thing down, I'm screwing down into the sub base. This will also be screwed into the struts, but I'm just going to have to put some blocks under between the struts just to take the fixings. And it's always a little bit squeaky bum time when you've put a lot of work into something already, then you've got to start routering grooves in. Now this little Triton slider, I've not used it for a while. In fact, the last time I used it was when I did my outdoor workbench back in the small loft workshop days. Phew, it's a scorcher. I've had a couple of days away from here. I finished this on Wednesday evening. Today's Saturday. I've got 3 jobs I want to do before I finish this video. Job number 2 is to fit the other top. Job number 3 is to fit some nosings around the bigger top, for which I will need the router. So job number 1 is to put a 0 voltage switch on to the router so I can control it without having to put my hand underneath it to start and stop it. So quite straightforward piece of kit. This screws to the wall or to the router table. Not 100% sure where I'm going to place it yet, so at the moment I might just place it on the wall at the side of the table. The router plugs into there, this plugs into the wall, so this will take all of 2 minutes to fit. So let's fit this and then we'll get on to the more exciting jobs of actually using the router table. Okay, so the placement might not be totally ideal. Probably better on the front so I can give it a bit of a knock with my knee should I need to stop it in an emergency. Right, so job number 2 is I need to fit this top, which is the other half of that sheet I bought, at the back of there. And if I'm perfectly honest, the reason I didn't fit this earlier was if I had a little faux pas router in this top, I had a spare. I'm going to leave it loose for the moment and I will continue doing some work to this top in the next video. Okay, so I'm really happy with the progress I've made so far. We've got the T-tracks in so I can mount the router fence. We've got the T-track in for featherboards and other accessories. It'll also work with the router sled and also now be able to make other accessories that work with this router table. We've got the nosings around the router table top with the two grooves in, one for trap saw clamps and the other one for standard T-bolts, which means I can start to bolt things to the bench top. So it's now not just a router table, it starts to become this multifunctional workbench. And we've put the electric stop in as well, so we've got some safety features on this table. In the next video, I'm going to concentrate on this top and mounting some of the other accessories I have. I've managed to use some of the tools that Banggood have sent me over the last 12 months and also some of the stuff they sent me new, the T-track. They do a range of T-tracks. I requested this one for this build and also the little setup blocks. I've never had setup blocks before, but there's a multitude of setup blocks in that little pack ranging from a couple of millimeters right up to 25 millimeters. So that will make it easy to set up the router cutter height for new projects. And I think lastly, what I found out today is now I've got this, but I need the run to get longer length through, is how cumbersome it is to move this saw bench router table. Very shortly I will need to focus a little bit of time on sorting the floor out. The floor's very uneven, so I need to sort of swap them casters out and I need to level this floor. But maybe to level this floor I need to start the wall build. So I've got a little dam for the floor leveler. I'm going to call this video here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see the rest of this build and the rest of the workshop build, then consider subscribing. And I'll see you next week. See you guys. Bye.